subjects because she was behind on work. And so she went from a maths group where she was good at but couldn't handle the pace of the workload, and then dropped into a lower grade of maths, and then she just felt like an idiot anyway. She could smash that maths but just felt like an idiot because she was there. So by the end of the first term she was like, I just want to leave school. And I remember I really wanted to bat for you've just got like a couple more terms and you've got your SACE, you can do whatever you want. And she was like, Mum, what do I need to wait for? I know what I want to do, and I know it is not school. And if I want to go and study later, I can just go and do a course that specialises in exactly what I want to learn instead of all this other stuff that I don't want to learn. I'm going to go and get a job and I'm going to move out of home. And she did all this stuff within a couple of weeks. So it's interesting how, you know, what you showed was the female saying, no, you get your butt back to work. No dreams here, thanks. So I kind of did that, but I did actually catch myself in doing it. And I just went, you know what, just go and do it because you've decided and you know it's going to make you happy. So I guess doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, doesn't matter what I say or think or whatever. And
good job, Mom.
It's been the best decision for her, and I knew that it was, but it was that fear thing was coming up inside of me that wanted to just go, no, just soldier on, you can do it.
Yeah, and let's get into that now. Where was the fear coming from? I'm going to be quite specific here. What was your limiting belief and fears that you were portraying onto your daughter, and what were the social constructs and the social rules that you were living by that you were then like, yeah,
so it's all stuff that we've worked on. It's all that stuff of, but you won't get a really good job if you don't have a degree. All that stuff was what was coming up for me, and I don't want you to repeat the life that I had. So all of that was coming up, which we've worked through, and I'm just like, it doesn't even matter. Just it doesn't even matter.
It's really funny, and I'm going to draw your attention back to, so a while ago, and I actually removed it because that was the moment when I realised at that point in your life the stronghold that social rules had over you. Now, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but I played for you a JP Spears video about people getting college degrees and university degrees, and I think you wrote something underneath it of, I couldn't watch this, there was so much bullshit in this.
Oh, yes.
Can you remember?
Yes.
And at that moment I removed it, and that's when I actually went and created the Out with the Old Rule Book part of this course. Not to change your mind because you can live by that, but because I realized at that point that those social rules, which used to be mine too, that the only way you can be successful is by getting your year 12, getting a degree, getting a really well-paid job that is safe. That is, I realized that had such a stronghold on you. That's why I created the Out with the Rules module.
Wow, thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. And hey, really cool. So this Saturday, Starwin Tonkin and I were going to be doing a Women Changing Their World episode. And we're going to be talking about unconventional living, so not living by the rules, because Starwin does not follow any of the social rules. Her kids don't go to school. She's actually unschooled them, a little bit like Honolulu. You know, she was divorced at 19. She was in an abusive relationship. And this is a bit of a break-free moment for her because she's never revealed all this information to her family.
Okay.
Yes, and her family, like mine, are quite strict rule followers. So she, a little bit like me, just to make life easier, even though I tell my family, this is why I'm doing this, this is why I'm doing that. A lot of the conversations I have with you guys, I choose not to have with my family because it's not their time to break away from those rules. It's just, they haven't had their cocoon moment or their metamorphosis moment. The big true version is going to either break out or they're going to die on the inside moments. They're not ready to get it. You know, a little bit like your conversation with, he's just not there. He hasn't had his moment. You know, he's still got his limiting beliefs and have got a stronghold. Yeah, which can be really frustrating when you transition into a new way of living that's different to the majority, because you feel like you're up here looking down at everyone else, and you sort of go, if you could only see what I could fucking see. You know, you do. You're like, yeah. Calvin calls it, and I love it, living in captivity. When you're living by rules, you're not allowed to make your own decisions. You're fearful of making decisions outside of your social herd for ways of survival, instinct, and primitive reasons, and all the rest of it. And I think we need to remember that now that we're outside of that captive state, that people that are still living within, and I mean, it's a terrible word to use, but that captive state, it's okay. You know, that is their story. That is there, you know, and even though sometimes it can be very frustrating for us, and it can be really frustrating because you feel like this is so sticky and you care about people and you feel like they're almost in a state of sufferance, you know, like they are living behind cages, but that's not our responsibility, and that's okay, you know, because I know I really struggled with that with all my friends and everyone around me, and I found that I had to let go of a lot of people and move my social herd for that reason, because there was so much resistance for primitive reasons. Abby's breaking away from my herd. There's safety in numbers. I need to ridicule. I need to condemn, not because I don't like her, but because my primitive brain is recognizing that one of my herd members is leaving, which means leaves me more open to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Even though they don't realize that's what their brain's doing. That's what's happening. Okay. So, Ordinary Joes.
Oh, who's that?
I don't know. Is that Linda on a different profile?
Oh, sorry. I guess I am. I'm so sorry.
Hi, Ordinary Joes.
Sorry, that's one of my business accounts. I was just trying to come back.
That's fine. It was like this moment, like this phantom. I've always wondered whether like someone will accidentally type in the wrong code in Zoom and just pop up. I thought I was having that moment.
Nice.
Yeah, so really interesting. Now, I just realized I didn't press record at the start of this with the video and everything else, but it doesn't matter because you guys are here. So, yeah, no, that's Darwin thing. And one thing I really wanted to talk to you guys, and Jules, I'm so glad you are here, because I had an amazing conversation with the lady that is going to join our academy yesterday. Jodie, has come from Jules's Happiness Coach as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I had the most amazing take charge of your life call with this woman yesterday, and I just want to share this with you. And I know that Jules is going to get this because, and guys, when you need to follow Jules. I'm going to get her to introduce herself at the moment because you haven't had a chance to meet her yet and tell you how she transitioned. Is that all right, Jules? And a little bit of your story and what you're doing. She's a lot like me, and like you, Jodie, and I know I can see that it's coming through with Linda now, where we believe in the power that our kids have. You know, and whatever spiritual belief comes with that, whatever, you know, is yours to own and yours to feel, and that's fine. But we understand, you know, like the post I did about risky play, and often kids' interpretation of their situation and their instinct is much better than ours because they're in the moment. You know, they're in the moment. So we often stop kids from doing stuff because of our own fears, and then we're restricting their development, their exploration, their whatever else. So I really, I look to Jules a lot for the way that she chooses to raise Marley, because I think it's really powerful and I love. But yesterday, this beautiful lady, she had lost her daughter 7 years ago. Her daughter was 19 when she passed. And this has created a whole transition in her life. But from the age of 2, her daughter Jessica, and this is just something extra, had told her, "Mum, I'm going to die when I am 19.
Is that Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to die when I am 19 and everything's going to be okay, but that is going to teach you a lesson and that's when you're going to start living. And of course, this woman was like, blah, 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 this, that, the other, carry on. No, shut up, stop saying that, blah, blah, blah. And when you meet Lisa, she swears more than I do. She's a legend, but she lives just down the road from me. And I said, if we catch up for a beer, we're not going to be able to go to the Rialto or the Hilton. I think we're going to have to be very choosy and choose like Irish Murphy so that people can handle it. But she's gorgeous. But all of a sudden now, 7 years later, she's having this transition. And she's like, it's my time. And I have not been living. I've been on autopilot, I've been captive, and now I need to start living. So all of a sudden, this message from her daughter, and it comes back to that, whether that's truth or not, whether that was, whether she actually knew or whether it was coincidence. This is something that she had been telling Lisa since she was 2 for 17 years. So that message has got such power and truth with Lisa, and it's actually provided her, even though she was a little bit scared to do it 7 years later after her daughter's passing, almost this opportunity to go, yeah, I can live, because that message from her daughter has got so much power in it. Really similar to what Calvin said about the message he was provided, about how his grandma believed he had come to her before he was put on this earth and said, I'm coming down to impact the world. I'm coming down to do great things. Now, whether that was true or not, that was a message that was delivered to him from the day he was born. And he believes that that is his purpose, to do this work, to change people's lives. So really interesting about the messages that we provide our kids with. And I've changed what I tell my kids. I used to say, you can do anything. You can do, this. And now I say to them, like Calvin, I've just flogged his grandpa's message. I'm like, you were put on this earth to impact the world, to be happy, to be powerful, to leave the world a better place. But it was really funny when I first told Ayla that, because she's 3. She ran and got her suitcase and asked me where the world was because she hadn't packed it yet. So funny. All right. So anyway, just a side note before we get started. Jules, can I open up your mic and can you just share whatever you want to share? We always do this, and then I'll get the other ladies to share whatever they feel like they want to share, and because we're all in this together and we're going to have a lifetime of pretty cool adventures.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, I am Jules. I'm your practical mystic. I am empowering people to walk their mystical path with practical feet. And in my own world right now, I'm being rocked pretty much. And what that means is I have no idea really what's going on, except that every single day I wake up and I make decisions to change my current reality to serve my higher purpose. And that most recently has meant that I've quit a 9-to-5 job to just focus on my business. After being mostly a single mom for the last 5 years, am finally back in yoga. I'm finally eating better foods, and being really, really militantly positive, if that's a thought that enters my brain that's negative, that's oh no, you can't do this, I just say, fuck off. I'm sorry, I don't have time for you right now. I've already done that. Didn't work out so well. I'm just, goodbye. Just every day, every moment of every day sometimes. And yeah, and I'm just choosing the people and the places in my world that raise my vibration and keep it steady there, and keep feeding the dreams, and the dreams keep coming. And so I have no idea what that means yet. I don't even have languaging around it, but that's just kind of where I am. My head is spinning, and I'm just taking care of me so that I can take care of that little guy out there, so that we can change the world.
I'm going to cry, Jules. I'm going to cry. I really am, because I feel like where you are at the moment is like the journey that we've taken Jody and that we're taking Linda on at the moment, to have almost this just understanding of worth, that being selfish isn't selfish. It's the most selfless thing that you can do, especially when you're a parent. You know, who else is going to show kids that they're entitled to their dreams and that they're worthy and that they're this, that, and the other? And it's really funny at the moment for Jody and Linda, because they're starting to open in their minds to opportunity. They're starting to live as their true self, not the projected version of their self. As they're starting to live as their bigger self, their plan A, isn't it funny how things, and I said to you, once you do that, it's like opportunities just fall from the sky.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas before anything, you had to work really hard to create, and then it would just dissolve because it was all forced. But at the moment, yeah, so it's super cool that we're all on here. Okay, ladies, I'll hand it over to you and then we'll get started. Who are you? What do you want to share with Jules?
Are you going to go, Jody?
Yeah, I'll go. So, hi, Jules. I am Jody. I live in Naracoorte, where Abby used to live. Abby and I met in Alice Springs about a year ago, a bit over a year ago. But my husband had known Abby for years and years. So, about me. Oh, sorry, I'm just watching an aeroplane fly across the sky. So I have 5 children. 21 in a month, 19 and 17, and nearly 4 and a 1-year-old. Where am I? I'm just on this journey of following my intuition, doing what makes me happy first in my day, and lots of things are coming from that. Like I've just had so many ideas on what I want to do and who I want to give to the world, what I want to do in the world, what I want to change, the future that I want to give my children, like as a legacy that I leave behind from actually taking action and being myself in the world. So that's very vague. Just the way I've said it's very vague. I've just, got lots going on. That'll just explode any time now.
And how have you changed? What's changed for you over the last couple of months, Jody?
So I used to be someone who was very concerned about what other people thought of me. So I would take actions that weren't mine, just so that I didn't look weird or odd, or even though inside, so I shared this kid dancing to Michael Jackson in front of his whole school like a couple of weeks ago, and like that's the person who I have always been on the inside, but I've been too terrified to actually be that person because of people might judge me, and normal people don't do that. You just sort of get on with life. You know, you have a family and you just plod along doing that. You don't be extraordinary. Extraordinary people have some sort of a gift or something. So that's how I looked at it, even though on the inside that's all I wanted of always. That's just me on the inside. That's just who I am. I'm now just finding ways to actually fully express that. Yeah.
Thank you. That was awesome. I'm going to share something in a minute, because I've just had a light bulb and another bit of a butterfly moment with you guys sharing. So I'll let Linda share, and then hi, Rolly. And then I'm going to see what I think of you guys.
Well, I'm Linda. Currently, I'm working on branding my family. And it's called Creating Chaos, and it's been an emotional
Oh my God. Try not to break down. I've been with Abby since April 25th, and it has literally turned my life around. I gave up 3 of my businesses today, which, as you can see, I'm shaking. I'm okay with it. The bumps in the road have come. I haven't got past, I'm on working on self-esteem. So, and it's gone amazing, amazing. I'm not even the same person. So I have 3 kids. I have one that's 14, 16, and 9. My 16-year-old is currently not at home. And actually that was my bump in the road today. She messaged me after 4 months of no contact. And she said, well, Mom, can we go for coffee? I thought, holy shit, like, holy shit. And normally I would have been all over that. I would have been, okay, yeah, I need to respond. Like, my life depended on it. But because of everything I've been taught within the program, I was able to just sit back and go, no, she can wait. You know, I don't need to be stuck in in the old chaos, in the old mindset. And so I sat back and I just simply told her, no, I'm not ready. I am not ready to go there. I'm not ready to have those discussions or meet with you, but I really think that you want something from me rather than actually want to see me. And sure enough, that's exactly what had happened. If I had not had the skills that I do now in these last few weeks, I would have not been able to control that situation for the better. So it's been an up and down day. It's all been really good, but I'm not accustomed to the way I'm feeling because of this course. Actually, before I didn't realize what time it was. I looked at Facebook and I was like, there you were, Abby. I'm like, oh my God, there's a call tonight. I was actually sitting down to work on the courses. So I've taken actually Mel Robinson. I have to say this. When I came on and you were playing Mel, that has been literally my go-to for, you know, every single day, every few minutes. It's like, okay, 5-second rule, 5-second rule. Don't think about it. 5-second rule. And I have the book sitting literally underneath my pillow. So it was really funny that, you know, that's what was playing. So yeah. So sorry, I know I'm all over the place. It's like I said, I don't know why I'm so nervous, but without this program, I don't think that I would be where I am today. So, and I know I'm just getting to know Abby. We met through Rhonda and Brian online, and yeah, it's been the greatest blessing. I've been able to say, no, you know what, this is not good enough, and I am worthy. I can do, and your opinion doesn't matter. And fuck you, I don't care. Like, so I just don't give a shit anymore. I cut myself off from the world, and that's probably something that a lot of people don't do, but I literally cut myself off from the world. I got rid of my cell phones. I mean, I still have them, but I literally suspended them because the chaos was too much. I just said, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm working on me, and my go-to every day is Abby. Me and my Maddie love to be watching Abby. So as I know everybody does, right? But yeah, so I don't know if I really answered the question. I apologize. Like I said, I'm nervous. I'm not usually nervous, but yeah, this has been absolutely incredible. So I'm so glad to see people and faces, and Jody responding to, you know, those posts that were, you know, you never know how they're going to be received, right? So was it going to come off as bitching or complaining or woe is me? So, but please, ladies, if I ever come off as woe is me, slap me back to reality. So yeah.
Wow.
You're muted.
So I'm going to do something that Jody knows that I often hand over to you guys to be able to discuss things and break through things, because we've all got skills. I'm going to do something in a minute. The reason you're feeling nervous is because this is out of your habitual pathway. Okay, so your brain is recognizing that this is something that I haven't done before. I wouldn't usually act like that. This is unsafe. Your heart brain is making you feel something, and then you've just labeled it with an emotion. Right? It doesn't matter what language you use, but we can only speak what we know, and we usually go back to habit in what we speak. So you've gone, your brain, your subconscious brain, your gut brain is like, this is out of whack for me. This isn't normal. I don't usually respond like this. Your heart brain has kicked in your gut brain and you've gone, I feel a feeling, and then you've labeled it, which is fine, with nervous. Okay? And that's fine because it's completely justified because your survival brain's kicked in, so you would be full of adrenaline. Okay? But you can choose to label that feeling whatever you want. Feelings are real, emotions are a language label.
Right.
So right now, if you go, I'm feeling excited that I've just done something new, your brain will go, that feels excited in my tummy, my heart's racing, validated, I'm excited. Okay, so that's the process that we go through, and you'll learn to control this, but that was so important that you shared that, and thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for going all out, playing full in, and backing yourself. Super important. Now, my light bulb moment that I had before you started talking is that there are people in this space that are in all different areas. So there's going to be people coming on that were in your position before, Linda, your position before, Jody, that were living to the rules, that weren't sure, that had this person inside them, that they thought that person was wrong. Okay, they thought that person was wrong. And then there's going to be people like you, like Jules, Jody, and I feel like part of what I am creating here is also a platform for you guys not only to help each other, benefit each other. And we are doing harnessing the power of positive thought today, I promise. I'll get around to it. Okay? But I feel like this is almost a platform for you guys to help impact the world as well. Because there's going to be a lot of people and there's going to be a lot of moments like this where, so just while you were talking, I just, in my head, identified, Jody, this would be a great time for you to share about how you cut yourself up from the bowling club until you'd learnt the skills to be able to deflect anything that was going to dilute your positivity. Until you understood your self-worth and until you learnt that no one else can actually make you feel any way, that you make you feel the way you feel. And then when you were talking about Mel Robbins and this and that, and I'm like, Jules, you need to cut in and talk about signs because that's your thing. Yeah? So would you mind, before I start the actual course, I know we're 40 minutes in, if I then just hand it over to you guys to have a bit of a chat to Linda about what your expertise are and what your learning are. I mean, they're two things I identify, but if you identified something else, because I know that you guys can be very valuable for Linda right now. Because you've been there. Yeah? Is that all right? All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but I think I've actually shared my bold story with Linda when we first met. Yeah. So I guess maybe it'll just concrete it in my mind a bit more. So I was with our local bowls club, and I've been growing as a person, really recognizing that the way people were interacting at my bowls club were not suiting me, and I really wanted to withdraw all the time. I love playing lawn bowls, but was really wanting to withdraw from the people. And then we had, so this was before doing Abby's course. So then I'm doing the course and I'm growing my self-worth. And we got to one module and Abby said, so do you want to go back to your bowls club? And I was a bit like, well, I really love bowls, but I don't think I want to be around these people. And Abby goes, but you know, you've got the tools now. So we had that conversation, and I really recognized how powerful and how much of a difference I could actually make if I put myself back into the space where originally I didn't want to be. And so I have this thing with shoes. I love shoes, and it's a bit of a uniform thing. Like if I feel on point with my uniform, or even getting up and speaking in front of people, if I have the right shoes on, there's this thing, it just feels like I can take on the world. So all my sporting shoes are always really trendy. I've got the coolest high heels, so it's like I put my shoes on and my game face is on. So, and I'd never recognized it as that before until Abby and I were having this conversation. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just the moment I put on my bowl shoes or my netball shoes or my heels for wherever I'm going, it's like putting on my game face, and I can play and be powerful, and I can actually make a shift in people wherever I go, because I'm creating a powerful, positive energy when I walk in. And the other thing I really recognized was that the thing that Abby always says is life isn't just the way it is. How do you say it, Abby?
Yeah, life isn't just the way it is. Called bullshit on the way life just is.
That's right, yeah. So, and I recognised that was actually how I was walking into the bowls club. This is just the way it is. But I get to change that. So that was really powerful, that whole journey. And so now I'm just walking with confidence. To anywhere, actually. To anywhere I go, I walk in with confidence. So, yeah, very, very cool shift in me that has me be powerful. And it's also now connects to all the things that I want to do in the future in shifting mindsets of other people in the world, especially empowering our young people. So, yeah, very cool.
Very cool. I love it. And another way of putting life just the way it is, I say that, and the reason I say that is because when I started transitioning, I would talk to people about my thoughts, my feelings, the way my partner was choosing, and people would say to me, Abby, and Jules will know this because she's lived in Tennant Creek, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is when you become a mum. It's just what happens. It's just the way it is if you want to be a woman in Tennant Creek and have kids to a bloke that's from Tennant Creek. It's just the way it is. It's that bullshit. But, it's bullshit. But another way of saying that is, and you guys will know this now because you're transitioning, we see the world as we are, as we see it. We don't see the world as it is. So what we do is we take on these limiting beliefs, this lack of self-confidence, all these bugs, all these fears, everyone else's fears, and then we see it the way that we are with all of that stuff. When you start removing all of those layers, all of the fears, all of the limiting beliefs, all of a sudden you can see it for how it really is. Yeah, you can see it in its absolute truth, and you realize that no one can take from you what you don't give them. You've got the power to feel the way that you feel. And I'm so glad you brought up the shoes. I was sitting there going, talk about shoes. I've got a secret to tell you during this thing about shoes and why we made such a big deal about your shoes. You've got something so powerful in you right now that you don't even realize. You actually just spoke about it, and I'm going to concrete it in for you.
Cool.
I mean, you know how I was sneaky with the self-esteem thing?
Yes.
I've been sneaky with something else. So it's like, okay, go for
it. A couple of things that came to mind when both of you were talking. In particular, the signs and symbols that are coming up in your life. See, you've made this huge leap, this huge jump in your life. And it's huge, and you can feel it by the fear that you're feeling and all of those, the reactions that your brain is telling you. And if you can open yourself up to noticing the signs and symbols that are presenting themselves to you in the form of your dreams at night, in the form of your daydreams, where are your thoughts wandering to? In the form of the airplanes flying across your window, Jody, in the form of all of these people trying to get in contact with you, because energetically, people can sense that you're changing. And while that's actually not their business, they're going to feel it. And they kind of want you to go back to how they know you, because it's scary for people to see other people change and shift out of the way that they know that they are. So I'll just plug that in, not that you can do anything about that, but you'll have people kind of trying to want to cling on to you a little bit. Now, that's why I think I have it really easy. It's just me and my little guy, right? He's 5, so he's going to follow me around. I'm not attached to a partner. My family loves me no matter what, but, we choose to tell people what we what they can handle. But just pay attention to all the things that you're presented with in your life in terms of the signs and symbols. Who is it? What are those phrases that are running through the back of your mind? What words are popping up for you? Are there numbers that are popping up for you over and over again? And then just one other thing, just kind of, I don't know where your beliefs fall, but practices all over the world have all sorts of forms of energetic clearing. Abby talks a lot about grounding and how grounding is like super important. You got to have some stability before you can branch out. You have to like connect with this planet before you can move forward and branch out. Well, another form of energetic cleansing, get in the water. Super easy. Have a shower in the morning, bath at night, whatever it is that you choose. Dance in the rain. I am always up for that. But if that's not accessible to you, sprinklers with the kids, choose something and then just take one little intention and just say, I'm just cleaning off other people's shit. Because you know what? I don't want to carry it anymore. Because we do, especially moms, especially women, just pick it up because we're so good at helping. And it's with an endearing, sweet intention, but it's not ours, right? It's not ours. Just have that intention to clear some shit off. Another really good thing, if you happen to be in a windy place, let the wind take it away. All right? Now, these things don't have to be like far from you. You don't have to go and get some sage, although if you have it, fantastic. Or go and get any incense to burn or copal or anything like that. But if you have it, great. Just make that intention to just clear yourself off, dust yourself off other people's shit. And I promise you, it will feel better. You are in your own energy. And it's like a muscle. You have to keep it up and keep practicing. I have a teacher who talks about it as being like psychic lint that just kind of attaches itself to you. And then sometimes we grab onto it too because, of our own things. But just some things that came to mind. And congratulations on all of your huge leaps. 3 businesses. I'm super excited to hear about this new branding thing that's happening. So, and congratulations on all the big leaps and all the little steps because they all count. Yeah.
Abby, I did want to mention one of the things I love everything that Jules you were just saying. Because oh my goodness, everything you were saying, I totally connected with. And going, oh my goodness, somebody understands about symbols and signs, and because I look like a loony to my my peers when I talk about stuff like that. But it was funny because I receive a numerology report, and every single day, and since for the last I want to say it's 9 days now, I've been receiving the same card with a combination, and it's the tree, and it always means that I'm branching out. And every single time I get this report, I literally wake up to see this report. I think, oh my God, and I'm so excited because it always says I'm branching out. And without this program, I could not have done that. Like last night, I joined Rhonda's Runway to the Money program. And then today I joined a 21-day goddess program. It's a workout program. So yeah, I just feel like I'm in the right place with all of you wonderful, beautiful ladies, and Jules, I really look forward to. Oh my God, I'm totally going to creep you after this call.
That's fine. Creep me away. You're totally in the flow. Things are just going to keep coming. And you just get to make one step after the other, after the other, after the other. And that's your work. Congratulations. Good work.
Thank you.
I don't want to come off mute. I kind of feel like we're done today.
You're not getting off that easy.
No.
I look forward to you.
No, but it's powerful. It's powerful, and it's amazing. And when you talk about the signs, when I started on this, Linda, the 111s and the 55555s, and I'm really in tune to those things and different songs that come through the radio. It actually got to the point where I was like, when I was removing myself from Tennant Creek, my partner, making big decisions where these recurring numbers were happening so much that I literally called one of my friends and went, I think I'm going insane. I said, I get the signs, I get it, I look for it. And she said to me, you do that all the time. You talk about this all the time. You screenshot when you look at your phone and there's a recurring number and you send it to me, you know? And I'm like, yeah, but it's happening so often. I think I'm losing my shit. Like, yeah. Who's knocking on it? And then I'd sit there at night and, you know, be a bit of a hippie and be like, Nana, Grandma, who is it? I've got it. I'm listening. I'm hearing. Like, leave me alone. But now that my business is now taking another transition, that I'm removing the private course hold and creating an academy as a platform, as a more accessible space for everyone, same thing. So this morning I woke up, my Gmail, believe it or not, because I don't know. Everyone's got this on their Gmail, 5,555. That's where there it was. I woke up last night at 1:11. Okay, and yesterday I looked at my card and it was 1:11. Just constant everywhere around me. So I know I'm on the right track. And it's that same thing. Even if it's not true, if you believe it, then it holds power. I believe it. Okay, and that's fine. But it holds power because I believe it. You know, and that's the importance of that belief and the belief structure in your brain. So if other people say to you, because I know my dad thinks I'm stupid. If I like, oh my God, it's 5:55, Dad goes, oh, it's a fucking coincidence. You're such a weird you know, that's fine. Right? That's deflector. I'll just deflect you because you're not going to dilute my fucking happy. All right? So you own that, that's fine. And that's what I say to you. Whether it's true or not, whether you choose to believe it or not, I choose to believe it, so it holds power for me. It holds power for me. So yeah, but it's amazing because look at the kind of people when you start being your plan A, like Jules says. When you start branching out and you start making these changes that you're meant to make, you're being told that you're meant to make, even your social media, look at the kind of people that you come in contact with. I did a live the other day how if you want to know where you're going to be in 5 years, look at who you hang out with. Their values, their outlook, their positive, their negative, whatever it is will rub off on you. I believe that you've got people in your life that you are meant to meet, that you are contractually going to meet. Now that's my belief, you know, that's fine. But if you're hanging out with the wrong people, you're not going to meet them until you stop hanging out with the wrong and you make room for them. You know, and look at this first meeting as we come together, all four of us. You know, and I don't have to pull out any psychological carry on about how you're feeling to know that you're hanging out with the right people. You know, sometimes you just know. Listen to my voice. I'm so excited. I've had the best week. So you feeling better, Linda?
Oh my God, I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling so much better. I'm so excited just to continue on and just watch everyone and learn, and I watch everything I possibly can. I actually can't keep up with everything, and I'm disappointed at times because I'm like, hey, wait, I gotta get that. I just have this need for knowledge at the moment that I just feel like the more I watch you, the more you're my first 30 minutes of the day. You know, I spent embarrassing amounts of time watching you. So people think I'm kind of odd. I was like, because I was telling my friends, I'm like, yeah, share her videos, take a look. And you know, of course, they're not in the same space as me, right? So they're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm like, no, it's changing my life. And they think I'm a little wonky, but it's been amazing. And I think I mentioned it the other day, but Abby helped me without even trying to. She helped me I was able to create a course a few nights ago. It came out of me. I went into the shower and all of a sudden I found myself saying stuff and I'm going
in the shower. Hey, it happened in the shower.
It's amazing what happens when you clear off other people's shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And it was just, I didn't even know it was there. It was absolutely incredible. And I was going to share it, but then I thought, no way, man, that's my idea. I'm not giving that away. So I kept it to myself. But yeah, I got out of the shower. I was in the shower for like 45 minutes. It just kept flowing out of me. And so it was like, okay, I got to get this down on paper or text it or note it to myself. And that's exactly what I did. I spent the next 3.5 hours literally writing all this stuff out, and I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, okay, you know, and just kept on flowing and flowing. I'm going, holy shit, where the hell did this come from? It came from, you know, my mindset changing, my self-esteem, the limiting beliefs. I don't believe that shit anymore. I don't believe that I'm not worthy. I don't, you know, it's all positive. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. You know, I have a dear friend of mine who's very close to me, an older man, and he's always criticizing me. And today I told him, I said, I love you dearly, Larry, but you're kind of negative, so I don't want to hear it anymore. And this is like a 70-year-old man who's like a grandfather to my kids, and I love him dearly. But I said, you were the one who told me to be positive and change my mindset. Now I've done that, and you're not okay with that. And he went, oh. And he was taken back by me being so candid. And I felt like I was disrespecting him, but then I turned that around to, no, I'm not disrespecting him. I'm creating my boundaries, and what I want is positive. And if he can't give that to me, then maybe he's not good for me. So yeah. And so yeah. Yep. I have so many things going through my head. Sorry. I know I'm all over the place.
That is absolutely fine. And two things, that's the importance of capture and control. I'm so glad you wrote that down, because our brains are like giant email filters. It's the same as capturing and controlling our emotions. Okay, capturing and controlling our thoughts, our ideas, our creativity, because guaranteed if you don't capture and control them in the form of recording them, something else will happen. Like you'll think about your kids needing to be fed, or, you know, and that, you know, we're mums. That'll be flagged with a big important sticker, and the other stuff will get put into the spam box, and it will be diluted and it won't be there as strong. So it's really important to capture those things as soon as you can. And then, you know, I'll do a live later on, but actually, no, next week in Reprogramming Your Future Self, I'm going to show you, and Jodie's seen it before, a thing called the game, where we look at the victim, rescuer, persecutor cycle. And you will be able to identify the gentleman within that, and you'll be able to see it from the outside looking in and understand where he is within that structure and understand why he is being the way that he is. Victim is a very big comfort zone for a lot of people. I talk about my mum a lot in that. My mum and I used to get along very well when I was playing the victim. Get along very, very well. Not so much when I removed myself from that, because, like Jules said, it was scary. It was a reflection on what was going in. Primitive. I was moving away from her tribe. I was moving away from her herd. She's more likely to get picked off. Okay, and my vibration became different to hers. So magnetically and energetically, we weren't pulled together. You know, there was a big clash going on, and that just makes you feel freaking uncomfortable. And when people feel uncomfortable, they act on instinct, they don't go, why am I feeling uncomfortable at the moment? Why? They go, fuck, I feel uncomfortable. Fight or flight. Abby, this is crazy. You're an asshole. You're not listening. But I used to do the same to other people, you know, before I became aware of it. So really cool. Really cool. The other thing, and I know that I can say this in front of you guys, and I think I've said this to you before, Linda, and this is a belief thing for me as well. So take it or leave it. You can completely take it or leave it. I've got my own spiritual beliefs about how we come onto this earth, how we leave it, how we come back again, how we come with certain soul partners or soul groups, and that's my thing. But for me, if my soul, if my being, if the bigger Abby left my body right now, my body would just drop, right? It would just drop. And that's all my body would do. But we've got these social ideals and structures, and I'm not saying they're a bad thing. I'm big on manners about how we view older people, how we view younger people, how we're meant to treat older people, which sometimes, in some cases, when there are older people that are not serving you or not being nice to you because of what we've taught about how we're meant to treat older people, we sometimes allow them to treat us in ways that aren't beneficial for us and aren't fair. But if you remember that they're still just a soul, just a being behind their exterior, then it's not such a bad thing to say, no, hang on a minute, this isn't serving me at the moment. I'm not saying don't display manners. Sorry, guys. How you going? Yeah, good. How are you?
Can I have a key?
Yes, you can. Look at that. I didn't even know you guys were. Sorry, guys. Just a second. You talk. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Sorry.
Linda, are you on the East Coast?
Yes. Oh no, sorry, no. I am Western Alberta or Western Canada. So
Oh, okay.
so I'm in Alberta.
Oh, fine. I'm in Seattle.
Oh, are you? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
catch where you were from. I think you said it. Did you say
I
where
didn't
you were?
say it. No, I'm
Okay.
in Seattle.
Oh, okay. So I just assume everyone's from Australia. So
No, I can't even fake their beautiful accent because I don't want to damage it. So go
Jody, when you were talking, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to laugh while you were talking. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think Jules, you did. But when you say I love balls, you should hear.
BOWL.
I know, but I was laughing. I know bowling. I do realize that, but but all I heard was I knew what you were talking about. But yeah, so if you see me laughing, I apologize. But what I heard was I love balls. Abby, you're muted. Yeah.
So you girls are hilarious. I'm so sorry. Zephyr's one of my mum and dad's guests staying at the motel. Like literally, I just saw him run past there like a shower of shit. And I'm like, what? Where is Zephyr's running? And then he's coming here. He's like, I need the key. And I was the only one here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to give you. I've got to find someone. So I'm sorry. I had to run away from it.
Oh, good.
Dear Bella, he's lovely. Zephyr said they're contracted and they love my girls, so they come in to eat at the restaurant. They like do jigsaw puzzles and stuff with them. They're like free babysitters. It's awesome. Anyway, back to. So after an hour of this, let's get started on harnessing the power of positive thought. Now, look, this isn't going to take a huge amount of time, and the reason being, will take as long as we want, is that I feel like from listening to Jules, that Jules has got the concept behind this. And whatever language we put around it, whether we look at it as a psychological thing, whether we look at it as a spiritual thing, you know, whatever, doesn't matter how we frame it. Okay, I feel, yeah, it's there. And I know, Linda, you've been doing stuff along the way as well. And Jody, this is going to be a bit like the self-esteem reveal. When I came in to do the self-esteem coaching, everyone thought that it was going to be like this great big intense, because I said, you know, your self-esteem is the absolute basis of your emotional intelligence and emotional mastery. If you don't have self-esteem, self-confidence and self-worth worked out, it's not going to work for you. Okay, so they thought that I was coming and came to do this great big intensive, and then I opened it with, I've been really sneaky. I've already been giving you the tools to do this. I've already been giving you the strategies to do this. Let's talk about your self-esteem. Self-esteem doesn't, you know, it's all about what you say to yourself when you look in the mirror and how you think about yourself. But having a killer self-esteem is recognizing that there's going to be challenges, but refusing to lie down. Knowing that you are capable and having a certainty within you that you are going to succeed, even though you may fall a few times. It means that you can see the bigger picture. It means that, and as I started saying these things, Jody and all the other ladies were like, oh, well, we've already learned the skills and we've already done that. I'm like, exactly. Right? Sneaky, but now I'm putting a label on it. Now I'm telling you that you've got a killer self-esteem. And you're, oh my God, I do. And it's all happened within 6 weeks. It was hilarious. I love being sneaky. And I've been sneaky again, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just going to share my screen here. You guys know how good I am at sharing my screen. Where did it go? Where's my photos? There should be a photo here. There it is. All right. Now, I know I've showed this to you before, Jody. What I'm going to do today is I'm just literally going to show you the cycle of negative thinking. I'm going to show you how it can create really bad habits and a really bad toxic relationship with yourself. I'm going to show you how to reverse it, and then I'm going to do something really cool. because I like doing stuff really cool. I like being a bit flashy. Okay. It's my thing, spiffy. I like being spiffy. All right. So here is the cycle of negative thinking. Now, if you guys watched that video with Brooke, when I went through this, this was her moment where she went, and Brooke is so amazing, she's 19. So the fact that she's doing this now, she's going to be a powerhouse, right? And as I was going through this, you guys would have just loved seeing her. You've been so proud of her. She was like, that was me 4 months ago. This is what I did. Okay, literally when we do the capture and control our emotions, okay, and then the non-resistance, and being aware of our emotions, being aware of our thoughts, being aware of our limiting beliefs, it's exactly the same process, guys. It's just that negative thought is another wedge in between all of that we need to be aware of. But we can control them. And guys, negative thoughts, negative thinking are always bad, same as limiting beliefs, because negative thoughts often come in the form of a limiting belief. If you have the limiting belief that you're not smart enough, then what is that telling you? What is that a sign? It's also a negative thought. It's a sign that maybe you need to improve your understanding in a certain area. That it's a sign that maybe you need to, in business, hire someone to do that side of business for you. It's a sign that maybe you need to improve your self-confidence and your self-worth. If you've got a negative thought or a limiting belief that you want to achieve something but you don't have the time, great. Same with negative thinking and limiting beliefs. Flip that. What is this a sign of? Well, it's a sign that I need to sit down and assess what I'm spending my time on, things that don't serve me, so that I do have the time. It's a sign that maybe I'm not prioritizing me, that I'm giving out to other people. Maybe it's a sign that I need to improve my time management. Negative thinking is the same, and if you catch yourself thinking negatively, it's often a sign, bang, that you need to go back and do those skills around self-esteem, self-worth, emotional intelligence. You guys, and you've got the course and everything, you've got the skills and strategies to master your intelligence, to increase your self-worth, your self-esteem, to use limiting beliefs as a tool, all of those things. If you do, it's like 10 minutes of that every day. If you ground, evaluate, assess every day, you're going to get better at it. Okay, for me, practicing these skills is a non-negotiable. Like my health, self, and pelf. Yeah? 1 hour of health, 1 hour of self, 1 hour of people that enlighten me, that lift me, that I learn from, that I want to frequently be around, that act at a high frequency. Non-negotiable. I can chunk them now, though. I go for a walk, take my kids and listen to an audiobook. Yeah, done. An hour. 3 hours knocked off. Okay, so this is how negative thought comes about. Really simple. Now remember, we are asleep usually. The average person is asleep to about 70% of what they're thinking. 70% of what is actually going on, the root cause of their emotions, they're not aware of, because they don't stop to ground, assess, evaluate, and become in control of that thinking, that problem, that instinct, that whatever it is you want to call it. As you guys are becoming more awake, and Jules said that, you literally, when you practice these strategies, can become so powerful that you don't even, the strategies that I'm showing you, you don't even have to go through the motions. You just become like Jules, and you have the ability to kick it and go, well, that's not in line with my purpose. That thought doesn't reflect what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm just not going to think that anymore. And I'm going to swap it for this. It's like having the choice, Jody, to feel the way you want to feel when you walk into a room. You actually have the choice when you practice this stuff enough to just kick the negative thoughts and put a positive one in place. I'm going to show you the process to be able to do that, but if you do it every day, give it 66 days and you won't need to go through the process. But it's really cool because I'm going to show you, and same, you can show your kids. You can do all that stuff. I'm going to show you how to use emotional anchoring so that you can kick negative thoughts and invoke positive ones within an instant. And I've already been sneakily doing that on the back end. Because I'm freaking sneaky. I'm like the Phantom. Okay. So, here is just the cycle. Now, I want you guys to identify people or maybe things in your life where this has happened. This happens with negative thinking. It happens with limiting beliefs. It also happens with acting out of emotions. Because often The negative thought is what throws that emotion out there, or that emotion happens and then people have the negative thinking, because our brain will look to validate whatever it is that we're feeling. So if we are feeling that a situation is scary, we will look for reasons to validate why it's scary. Yeah, and then our brain, our devil of doubt, will tell us things in the form of negative thoughts to validate that. If we are certain that we are going to succeed and this is exciting, so once we get control over our emotional mastery, over our thinking, our brain will look to validate and find evidence as to why we're going to succeed and why this is exciting and why it's an opportunity. Your whole world changes, okay? So, negative thought, just like hanging on and internalizing limiting beliefs, so on and so forth, makes us feel bad. It invokes stress. Now, I know that you guys have been in situations like this before, and I can probably identify times in your life for you, but I know that you guys can. It affects your health. It affects the hormone and the chemical productment, ability to produce the right amount of hormones and chemicals in your brain. It creates stress in your gut and upsets your gut flora or fauna or whatever, you know, and once your engine, your gut is out of whack, nothing works properly. When people look tired, run down, you know, and how many people do you know that are stressed get reactions with their skin? Yeah, starts from their gut. Stress upsets your gut ability and your engine's ability to function properly, just like a car, okay? It affects your self-esteem, and you're going to see this with this cycle. It affects your ability to capture and control your emotions. It affects your productiveness. If you're under stress, if you're thinking negatively, I guarantee you form bad habits, and you will not be as productive as you can be, all right? So as an example, and I'm going to use a really light example, I know I've done this before, of someone going to the gym. Because last week we did the Unstoppable Action Taker, how your brain will go, if you decide tomorrow to get up and go to the gym, your brain will go within 5 seconds, no, fuck off, that's not safe, you haven't done that before, I want to stay asleep. I want my brain functioning on the little computer to stay like this. I don't want you to wake me up. That's hard work. I've got to conserve energy in case a saber-toothed tiger comes after me and I have to run away. Okay, it's our primitive brain. All right, so let's say you decide tomorrow you go to the gym. If you have been to the gym every day for 66 days, you've formed a new neurological pathway in your brain, same as any habit, and it becomes easy. Because rather than your brain having to wake up and do this for it, you've created a new neurological pathway, and you get up and go to the gym and your brain is like that. It's easy. It's not hard work anymore. It actually likes it. Like driving the same way to work every day. You get to work and you're like, I know we did this last week, so this is a little bit of a, sometimes you get to work, you go, how the fuck did I get here? I can't remember driving here. It's because you've done it so many times, you've glued in that pathway and your brain's asleep, okay? So this is what forming a new habit is. It's actually creating your brain to go to sleep so that it doesn't have to wake up and use energy. Okay. It's the same when you're doing anything. It's the same when you're becoming awake to your thinking. You will often feel like this is too much hard work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to be conscious of this stuff. Okay, it's because your survival brain has gone, this is a new thing. I don't want to do this. I want to stay asleep. So it will start telling you things like, this is too hard work, this is hippie, this is whatever it is, to convince yourself not to do it. So let's say you go, right, I'm going to get up and go to the gym tomorrow. What happens? Within 5 seconds, your instinct brain kicks in. You start telling yourself all the reasons that you don't want to go, because your brain's lazy. He's a prick. If he could sit on a couch with a beer and a box of Cheetos and watch the footy all day, he would. Okay, that's where he would like to be. All right, we're not wired to do things outside of our comfort zone. So all of a sudden you get these feelings, don't you? If you're not in tune to what you're thinking, you get these feelings and you're like, oh, you feel uncomfortable about going to the gym, and then you start listing all the reasons why you shouldn't go. I'm going to look shit in my gym clothes. Jenny, the weightlifter, is going to be there, and people are going to look at me, and I don't want to be compared with her. I don't even know what I'm doing. Hi, Maddie, gorgeous. How are you? How are you? Oh, it's going to cost me money. Oh, I'm going to be tired for work. You know, all these things, right? This is just your brain not wanting to wake up. I promise not to swear while you were there, Maddie. I didn't realise you were there. I've dropped like the F-bomb like 3 times now. Okay? So as a product of that, as a product of your survival instinct, your lazy brain, you lack motivation. You don't want to do things, right? We've done this heaps. If you don't feel like doing something, you're probably not going to do it. You wake up the next day, hit the snooze button, hit the snooze button, hit the snooze button, you go, I'll go tomorrow. Yeah? Been there, done that. Okay? So then what happens is you continue this negative self-talk. I need to go to the gym because I'm unfit. I want to feel better about myself. I didn't go to the gym yesterday. See, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I can't achieve anything. I can't follow through with anything. I'm not motivated enough. I'm never going to look like that. You can see how this happens, and not just with the gym, with anything. Then all of a sudden you feel worse, and your motivation is even less. Okay, it's even less because of the negative self-talk. So you don't go to the gym the next day. You don't change your behavior. There's no change in your thoughts. So all of a sudden your brain is looking, okay, for reasons to justify that negative thinking. And because you haven't changed your behavior, because you haven't used the 5-second rule and just gone to the gym and done anything different, all of a sudden this has reinforced those negative thoughts, hasn't it? Oh, I'm not good enough, I'm lazy, I'm never going to look like that, I'm really unhealthy. You haven't done anything because of the way you're feeling to prove to yourself that that's not true, so you've reinforced that. And this is where a toxic relationship with yourself can start. You might be identifying this in others or in different periods of your life. You can put this to relationship, you can put this to business, you can put this to kids at school, whatever you want, okay? Then when you start reinforcing that, that becomes internalized from your experience, and this is where limiting beliefs are formed. I don't have the time to go to the gym. I don't have the money to go to the gym, because you've reinforced that experience. Okay, this is why, guys, sneakily, I do changing limiting beliefs, using limiting beliefs as a sign. Okay, because if you learn how to change your limiting beliefs and use them as a sign, you've already counteracted your negative thinking. And you often don't have to go through this. Okay? As I said, you start look for evidence, the validation of this, it becomes internalized. You start acting in a way that reflects that negative thinking, that negative thought, or that limiting belief. You've internalized it, it becomes a part of you. It is in control of you now, rather than you being in control of it. This is why we do emotional mastery, okay? So that you can control it. All of a sudden you have an inability to act or think positively, because everything you do is controlled by this limiting belief. I don't have the time, I'm unhealthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the resources, people are going to judge me, I'm not good enough. You are continuously validating this for yourself because of your negative thoughts and the way you're making yourself feel. And you really struggle to think positively because you don't have a reason to, because the way you're acting is providing evidence that those negative thoughts are true. Is this making sense? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So then all of a sudden you form negative habits. You don't go to the gym, or you don't eat properly, okay, because you haven't chosen to change your behavior. This is why I do unstoppable action, yeah, because you've already learned how to change those negative habits straight away. Launch yourself like a freaking rocket, okay? And then the cycle continues. All of a sudden, when people aren't feeling bad, you'll see that they will start the same cycle, and it might not be with the gym, it might be with their eating. Then it might be with relationships. Intimate, professional, personal. Okay, and this is where people get in a really toxic relationship with themselves, and they choose cycle of abuse. They choose because they're looking to validate what they're thinking. I'm not good enough. You know, and if they're not awake to what they're thinking as well, if what they're thinking is within that 70%, their negative thoughts and their limiting belief are within that 70% that they're not awake to, this can be a really dangerous cycle. This is why, and I did a live yesterday, I'm a professional troublemaker, and I sometimes say things to you guys that you don't want to hear. Because this shit needs to be on the surface, because if you're asleep to it, there is no way that this is going to change. But the really cool thing is, now that you know the cycle, you can just reverse it. See? You can capture yourself having a negative thought, capture it, or a limiting belief, or whatever it is. Okay, because your limiting beliefs will create negative thoughts, and your negative thoughts will create limiting beliefs. Yeah? Works the same with all of them. So if you reverse this, geez, I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling really tired. Notice that I haven't been meditating, or I haven't been spending time on myself. Or you're awake to your thoughts. I'm not good enough. Hang on a minute. Caught you. Capture, control, using those same strategies, and then you just reverse it. Rather than forming a negative habit or having the inability to act, 5, 4, 3, go. Done. All right, and then you're reversing it. All of a sudden, you've gone and created the action that you needed to because you haven't given your brain long enough to think negatively and talk you out of it. So you've created evidence that you can act and change your behaviors. You've created evidence for yourself that you can do these things. This is then reinforced because you have those thoughts, oh my God, I can't believe it. I got up and I went to the gym. Look at me go. Not bad. If I can do that, I can do that tomorrow. Excellent. This starts becoming reinforced in you. Your brain is now looking for positive things because you've got positive thoughts and you've got evidence for that to be reinforced. Your relationship with yourself is improving. You've just overridden your limiting beliefs through acting, through not letting your brain have 5 seconds to talk you out of it. There is a change in your behavior and your thoughts because all of a sudden that makes you feel good, right? You're like, geez, I felt really good going to the gym yesterday. I'll go again today. 5, 4, 3, gone. Done. Then there's continued positive self-talk. Oh, look at me go. 2 days in a row. I'm winning. I'm freaking winning. Another 64 and this is going to be easy. Another 64 and this is just going to be part of my life. You start seeing changes. Okay, you start feeling changes. And all of a sudden you don't have a lack of motivation. You are motivated to improve. You get that hunger, that determination, especially because you guys know now 66 days of doing something every single day, and it's going to become easy. And all of a sudden your health improves, your self-esteem improves, your productiveness improves because you feel better about yourself. You're not letting yourself talk yourself out of stuff. Did we get that? So sometimes, literally, negative beliefs, all you need to do is use that unstoppable action. Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch yourself, act, so that your brain doesn't have time to talk yourself out of doing that thing. And then you reverse this cycle. You've got evidence to validate that you should be thinking positively. You've got evidence to internalize good things about yourself. Because your brain's going to look for whatever state you put it in. So if you give it enough time to think, to create self-doubt, it'll look for that. Don't give it time. Do not give it time. How's that? Cool? Cool. Cool. Look at you cleaning your teeth ready for bed, Marley. Look at your beautiful pearly whites. All right, does anyone want to share anything from that? And then I'm going to break into something that I'm so excited about.
I'm so glad you flipped that because I was starting to feel like really down. Like I was moving through the cycle as you were going through each step I'm just starting to feel really crappy. So I'm glad you flipped it. And then I was actually getting, as you were going around, I was getting like more uplifted and excited.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was cool. And I was trying to pinpoint stuff in my day where I've done the same thing
Yes.
in the cycle. And yeah, no, very cool. I like it.
Excellent. And you're very aware and you're very awake. So you
Mm.
would have been pinpointing things and going, oh, and you would have been, because you're pinpointing that experience, you've got emotional memory stored there. I go
Yeah.
for my guts when I say emotional memory. I know it
Yeah.
it starts from here, but that's where you feel it.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you know.
It was a bit like, hurry up, Abby, like, let's move on. We got the picture.
Shut up, McKenna. You meant to make me feel good. I love it. I love bringing it. Yesterday, professional troublemaker. I love making you feel uncomfortable. I love creating discomfort and bringing you out of it because it needs to happen. If you didn't feel that, you wouldn't do anything that I said because it wouldn't give you a reason to do it.
Yeah.
Would you? For a second, you're like, oh, I feel shit. I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Mm.
Sometimes I wish I was Letitia. I'd be doing something really cool right now. See? She's a cracker. I love that woman. All right. So I've been doing something quite sneakily with all of you. Linda, I had a discussion with you the other day about putting a bubble up. The people's behaviours, people's actions, people's energy, people's responses to you are theirs. They're not yours. And by you taking responsibility for them, you're actually disempowering them. You're not allowing them the power to choose their behaviours, choose their thoughts, choose their actions. This is what happened with your daughter this morning. You've actually empowered her now to choose other actions or other behaviours. Whereas you used to allow her to play the victim, which we'll talk about later on, to be that victim. You were the rescuer. That's actually enabling her to stay in that state of victimization. We'll talk about that. I said tomorrow, next week. All right? And you can actually, when you decide to meet with her to go for coffee, I'll explain it in such layman's terms that you can talk to her about it. But remember, it's her choice whether she listens or not. Yep. Absolutely, because it can be really threatening. Like you weren't on the call yesterday, but like Dr. G, when she felt exposed all of a sudden. That's okay, Jules, not a problem. I will be uploading this beautiful. We're going to do some emotional anchoring. So you'll have the recording and so you can watch the recording, babe. And I think it'll be really awesome for you. Cool? No, I'm sorry. I know it went way too long. Terrible. Bye, beautiful boy. Bye, powerful little fella. Bye, I love you. Oh, he's so cute. Ah, love you. All right, guys. I'll put the recording up this afternoon for you, babe. Cool. Cool, cool. Oh, he's still going. Scrumptious. Okay. He's so cute. So, I taught you about the bubble to encapsulate your worth, your power, your everything in that. I was speaking to a lady yesterday and she had to have a conversation with someone in her workplace. And she was, now Jody, this is why I let you stick on this, because she had a past experience in her life with men. And she had to speak to someone in her workplace who was a man, quite big in stature. And straight away, because of the way that he chose to respond, that he chose to, and the tools that he brought, and like give credit where credit's due. If people intimidating or acting out or playing the victim, if that works for them, they're not going to change their behavior. Why fix something that's not broken? If they get their own way when they yell and intimidate, if they get their own way when they act out like a child, or if they get their own way when they go, oh, this isn't my fault, this is yours, I've done this, I'm such a victim, why would they change? Yeah, it's like with your daughter. Why would she change if that's worked for her? It's like with our kids. That's why I like to challenge my kids, and sometimes people think I'm being an absolute asshole. They're entitled to feel. Absolutely, I get them. But if I know she's being really unfair in a situation and trying to manipulate me emotionally, which as a 3-year-old she is very good at. I actually have to produce a very powerful state of mind sometimes when I'm with Ayla, so that I don't let myself be quite manipulated by her, and not in bad ways. And this is part of her development, you know. This is part of her. But if that works, I'm like, if that works, she's going to learn that she can do that to everyone. That's not okay with me. I love her, and we have conversations about how that can make people feel and whatever. But if it works, they're not going to change their behaviour. So yesterday, this lady, I spoke to her out the back of her workplace, and I just said to her, right, from now on, and we did cognitive reframing, because she said, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated with him and the way he's acting. I'm, you know, la la la, and da 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 da, and da, 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 da. And I was like, are you frustrated? I don't think you're frustrated. I think you're intrigued. Isn't it intriguing that he chooses? And she goes, I make him so angry. I said, no, you don't. Get off your pedestal. You don't make anyone do anything. You don't make anyone do anything. He's not a minor. He's not a child. You don't make him do anything. The only time that we are made to do something is when we have allowed for our self-esteem to be knocked so much, which happens in abusive relationships. If we take responsibility for the fact that we've allowed it to happen over time, that then you can lose your power so much that you are not in control. That's why you choose never to allow yourself to have your self-esteem and your self-confidence and your self-worth knocked like that again. Sometimes that's a really hard pill to swallow. I was the victim of an abusive relationship. That's how I identified. I'm the victim. Okay, I did. It wasn't until it was pointed out to me that you had the choice to leave in the very first instance. And I was like, oh no, because I had to rescue him, and that's where I was, and that was it. But you had a choice not to do that at the very start. Now, you know, sometimes that can be people really take offense to that. But once you gain knowledge of your own power, you go, yeah, okay. And once you've got responsibility for that situation, once you realize that you've got some responsibility in that situation, that is such a fucking powerful thing. Because all of a sudden your mind changes to, oh, I might be in this situation again, to I've got the power to never be in that again. And it's on me. And that's awesome. Yeah? All right, I'm getting sidetracked. But I'm doing that for reasons. So, this woman had been in a very horrendously abusive relationship previously. Horrendous. Okay, the things that happened to her bring tears to your eyes, okay? So we had this conversation for a start. And she said, and she allowed her to identify it herself, she went, I do this with men straight away. I liken this situation to that experience. Not consciously, because I'm asleep to it, but habitually I go, that's a man, he's yelling, or he's playing the victim, or using the same strategies and abusive control as her ex-husband. So she straight away, subconsciously put herself in that situation. Again, she was reliving it, even though it hadn't happened. Yeah, she was waiting for it to happen, even though there was no evidence to suggest it was going to happen. It was just the fact that her brain had generalized, that's a man, this was a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, whoa. And then she would absorb everything that this person said. And you can feel, like Jill said, you can feel that energy. People know when they're intimidating you, they can feel that energy. Okay? Not consciously, they're not aware of it, but they can feel it. So if you're going to absorb it, that's going to work for them. They've probably done that for years. This is the tools that they bring to the world. If it works for them, why would they stop? Okay? And not just for abusive people, for anything. Sometimes I do things that I know probably isn't the right way to do them, but they work for me and it gets me my outcome. Okay? Not by manipulating and abusing people, but anyway. So, what we did is I said to her, right, from now on, if he says something to you, that if he acts in a way that you're not prepared for, or that you wish that he didn't, it's now intriguing, isn't it? Isn't it intriguing that he's using these tools to try and gain power over this situation? It's not frustrating. And all of a sudden she got the giggles. And she said, it's almost like I feel sorry for him. And I said, that's not a good space to be in, but I get that. I think I do. I think I understand. Can you explain it to me more? And she said, because he lacks the tools to be an adult, to be fair. And I'm like, exactly. And isn't that intriguing? Okay, so straight away, her emotional state, her emotional experience in that situation had changed. Just by that cognitive reframing. Okay? And this is part of emotional anchoring, but I'm going to get into that. Then I said to her, right, now what I want you to do is I want you to create your bubble. She said, what? I said, yeah, create a force field, encapsulate. And this is what we did with you, Jody, before walking into the Bowls Club. This is what we did with you, Linda, before speaking to those women, the women within your workplace, within your professional space. The bubble. You encapsulate your goals, your worth, your desires, your everything in that. And anytime someone says something that may dilute that, just let it bounce back. You let it bounce off and you let it go back inside of them because it's not yours, it's theirs. This is why when people say, oh, I made them feel so guilty, I made them angry. Like I said, no, you did. Who do you think you are? It was once said to me when my parents were fighting and I said to my friend Kate Barnes, Jody, I said, oh my God, my parents are going to get a divorce and it's my fault. And she said, who the fuck do you think you are? How important do you think you are to think that you have an impact over your mum and dad's marriage? And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, I'm not that important. That's their marriage, not yours. What they choose to do with it is up to them. You know, and it's the truth. So she had a bubble. She encased everything in it. And I said it was really important. Every time he said something that you felt like it was going to dilute or that was intriguing or whatever, you don't let it get to here. You just let it bounce back off and it goes back inside of them. Now, we did this with Brookie. Brookie this was something that she really struggled with. And even things that people were doing to not intimidate her or not condemn because of her lack of self-worth, her brain was trying to validate that people hate me even when they didn't. So they might have said something that wasn't actually meant negatively. She would see that negatively and she had it. Oh, yeah. And she carried it. And so, you know, developing self-worth was important to Brookie, but what I did with Brookie, and I have showed this to you guys before and some of you did it, not only the bubble, Brookie needed more than that. Brookie needed an emotional anchor. Never told her it was an emotional anchor. Okay, the bubble is an emotional anchor. If you use that every time, you know when you walk into a room and you've got your bubble, your brain goes, oh, just not taking on anyone's shit at the moment. You set your brain up for that. All right? It's like, because muscle memory does this, when I say to you to capture, control that emotion, and before you get into your grounding state, what did I tell you to do? Shift.
Move.
Move. Shift your feet. After 66 days of doing that, or even before that, because you can fast and you can create this within an instant depending on how heightened your emotions are at the time you create that anchor. Sometimes it takes practice, sometimes it takes a feeling of strong emotional control. Now when you go this, your brain automatically goes, oh, I'm grounding, and it takes you straight into that state of non-resistance. Yeah. You don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to now, Jody, clear your space or move away from people. If someone says something to upset you, you can go like this and you go into a state of grounding. Because you've emotionally anchored that, right? Brookie's deflection for feeling in control and not taking on anything was this. Yeah. So we made Brookie, I said, right, when that happens, you walk away, you go into a room, you find a space and you throw it away from yourself and you deflect it and you actually go, that's not mine. She now does that instantly. She said, I was at the footy club the other day. I had a person unloading all their shit on me. I felt like it wasn't mine. It was giving me the shits. It was making me uncomfortable. So I just walked outside, went, she said, then I was fine. I said, none of it was there. I actually felt everything going. She said, then I went inside and jumped on the dance floor. That was her emotional anchor. That was it. For you, Jody, It's your shoes. That connection between your shoes and that power is an anchor for you. So you've got this already. You've got this already. See, I'm fucking sneaky. Jody, Linda, your bubble. When I say to you, do this if that's what you want to do, or that's not mine, like I told you to do with the ladies. Whatever represents you, that's not mine. You do that enough and you practice that enough, that will become an anchor for you. So anytime you feel like someone's going to dilute your happy, you just anchor. Ah! Not mine. Not fucking mine. Sorry, there's kids around and stuff. I anchor every day. I anchor before I get on this call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a really little anchoring process, and I know I've done this with Jody before, for positive and negative thinking, that if you practice that, and then all of a sudden, as I said, once you do it, you don't necessarily need to do your anchor. But there's certain things that I would love to do with you guys when I'm in proximity, and I've done them with Calvin, and I'm going to explain that afterwards. So I'm just going to give you the my little pre-intro into the power of anchoring. I'm going to show you these techniques, and then I'll share something with you personally if you want to stick around. If you don't want to stick around, that's fine. So the All Blacks, does everyone know who the All Blacks are? New Zealand rugby team. I'll show you. Okay, no worries, Linda. The All Blacks, because elite athletes use anchoring. You might see them, they have their little rituals. I think Usain Bolt does this weird, he's anchoring. It's not a habit. He's anchoring. The All Blacks are the most successful sports team of all time. I think they have won about 86% of championships that they have ever been involved with. That is massive. Do you know why they're so successful? The haka. Guess what? Is a form of anchoring.
Yeah.
The haka. All right, the haka, which is a war dance. It invokes masculinity. It invokes power. It invokes certainty that they will prevail. And trust me, I'll tell you about my anchor because it is so strong. Anchoring can be so strong. If you get the opportunity to do an emotional anchor within proximity of someone, and I will share that with you later on. I'm actually talking to some people at the moment, Calvin includes, so that because I really want to do this. But I want to do it so it works. It will work over the internet, but it needs to for it to work instantly. So what you can do though with positive and negative thinking, and I used to do this with my students, it's really simple. And it can be any mood, anytime because you're awake now, anytime you capture yourself having a negative thought, you go, there it is, negative thought. Because what happens in your mind and how you imagine that emotion, how you hear that emotion is really important. That's why I'm always telling you things like, not mine. Right? And like Brookie said, she said, I can hear myself yelling in my head, not mine. That's really important. So what you do is you capture that emotion or that negative thought and you go, I'm lazy. What? That's not in alignment with what I want to do. F off. You turn it down. You turn it down. Turn it down by 2. Turn it down by 3. Turn it down by 5. Imagine that negative thought turning down, turning down, turning down, and then you delete it. Done. Okay? If you want to have a little different move or a different, but that's all you do. And you'll find that after time, you'll automatically capture that and you won't have to turn it down. You'll just be able to delete it. Okay? Same with a positive thought. This is why I did the 2 things. Geez, you look smoking today. Okay, it can be anything. Okay. Turn it up by 2. Turn it up by 3. Turn it up by 5. Turn it up 10 times and save. This works really well with kids because they've had computers in their life. So they've actually got wiring in their brain that helps them to. And you can do whatever. It doesn't have to be the volume, the turn it up, the turn it down. This is one that I use with my kids because they understand that, but it can be whatever you want. It might be that you just feel that emotion or feel that positive thought, feel that positive thought, lift it, and then you might have a power move. It doesn't even have to be a power move. I'll show you some of the anchor. So now that I've done that, I'm going to share something with you if you want to stick around. Okay. So have you seen the haka before, Linda?
The dance, you mean?
Yeah.
The dance? Yes, I believe I have, yes.
Okay. I'm going to show one to you, all right, that I absolutely love. There's so many that I love. Now that I understand that they're emotionally anchoring, I used to get really quite emotional whenever I used to watch the haka. There was actually a pub in St. Arnott where to get everyone to leave, the guards were all Kiwi and they would do the haka. And the energy from them was so intimidating that no one ever back chatted. Just say, you're right, I see you later, cool, have a good night, catch you. And I'd be in tears because I love it. It's such a spectacle. You don't want to be the one that's in front of them. It's almost like you're trying to get other people's bodies to shield you from that. And so they do different hakas at weddings, which invokes emotions of love and care. They've got hakas for all different things. Lots of tribes people use emotional anchoring. Indigenous Australians, the different dances for different things. It's all emotional anchoring. You guys might do it subconsciously as well. And I can show you. That's your anchor. That's your anchor for feeling powerful and good.
Yeah.
Wicked. Don't change it. It's perfect. Okay, so I did an amazing emotional anchoring with Calvin. I've done it twice. It didn't work the first time, and I'll tell you why. Hilarious. But everyone's got their own anchoring moves, and it doesn't matter what it is, so long as it's representative of you. And I found that my anchor, when I was actually doing the emotional anchoring, wasn't what I'd planned. So mine is this. And you might have seen it in where I broke through the Linda, you saw that where I broke through my picture, but before you saw that where I was doing, I literally, and my leg goes because I used to do boxing as well. I do this every time before we have a call. Every time I know I'm coming up against a challenge, every time I know I'm going to have a conversation with someone that doesn't necessarily serve me, I will anchor, okay? And I'll tell you why. And it's this. I go, yes, yes, yes. Do it 3 times. You don't have to yell me. I just choose. Calvin is this, like he's breaking through glass. Big Rich, this is the best one I've ever seen. Literally like, he's number 6 bodybuilder in the world. So he anchors. Nearly every single Maori Kiwi person I've seen go through emotional anchoring will go, or because of the haka. One of my friends, hers is just, so it can be absolutely anything, okay, so long as it's reflecting you. I remember that I was going to like, yes, and that was going to be mine. That was what I planned. And then when I went through it, I was like, yes, and I remember, oh my God, where'd that come from? That's not what I planned. But it's not about planning. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave you with the haka. Okay, I'll leave you with the haka. I might cry, but anyway. No! Do you want to see the haka?
Yeah.
Let's watch it. We'll do it now. And then I'll tell you about my experience with anchoring and how powerful it can be. Okay. YouTube. Now, one of my favorite hakas is this. Now, these kids are 15, 16, right? And if you watch, now this one, can you, oh, you can't, I haven't shared my screen, sorry. Dopey turnout. So, I need to share my desktop, not that one. So this second one down here, if you get a chance to watch it, this is the wedding haka, amazing, that I love. This second one here, if you get a chance to watch it, this is the school performing a haka for a teacher who had passed, and this was him arriving. The one I'm going to show you, Jody, did you say before the funeral haka? No, said that.
No, I didn't say anything about a funeral haka, but I have been to one, a funeral where they had a haka. And then actually you mentioned about not wanting to be in the way of those guards at St. Arnaud. That was kind of what it was like. They actually did it at Memorial Oval on the side of a hill, and I felt like I couldn't actually be in front, and I remember moving to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch them, yeah.
And you're really perceptive of energy as well. So
yeah.
Same with me. So when it's a power haka, especially one where they're invoking like masculinity, power, war mindset, I'm like, get them. What? No way. So this one I'm going to show you, and you can choose to the one. Actually, do you care if I take 5 minutes of your time? I'll show you both.
Yeah, go for it.
Go.
So these are young men. So they would have been taught to anchor since they could stand. Okay, they would have been taught to anchor. They would have been taught what this is about. They would have been taught. So, and you see their ability to stand down within an instant. So I'll show you the first one, which is where their teacher's actually arriving in the hearse. And it's very powerful, but it's very emotional. The one in the hall is more of a powerful invoking, so more of the traditional haka. It's not the traditional haka that we know, Jody. It's not the one that we see every time the rugby's on or but yeah, you'll be able to feel the different emotion, and you can see when they're in the hall, it's almost like a wave. So if you see the fellas up the back, they're up on a platform, and it's almost like a wave of energy coming down. And I'm choosing this one because they are so young, and you can see the power and their ability just to invoke it and then stand down if they don't need it. And then I'll tell you my experience. But if it's late or if you need to go, you can go. This is just an extra. You can go back. I did this with Brookie too. So, all right, here we go. I will mute myself.
Abby, turn it up so we can hear them.
That's as loud as it's going to go on my computer. Sorry, I thought it was cut. So what I'll do is I will put a link up for you guys to watch it so you can see that and you can feel that. I'll put a link to both of them in the Discover Your True Self trial.
Is it maybe because you muted yourself out that we couldn't hear it?
Pardon?
Was it maybe because you muted yourself out that we couldn't hear it?
Yes. Hey, so can you hear this?
Yes.
Oh, Vicky, come back. It's because I muted myself. What it is. All right, so I'm going to take 5 minutes of your time. Then I'm going to share my experience, and I'll let because we've been going for 2 hours. So, you don't have to stick around, but this is Vicky, by the way. This is my mum and dad's manager. She's beautiful. So they can hear us now. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I'm ready. Is it? Clear Blue pregnancy test with weeks indicator gives unmistakably clear
course.
results. Written
We're
in
all feeling
words.
this way, and then the
Over
pregnancy
99%
test ad comes
accurate,
up.
absolute clarity when you need it most.
So powerful.
Isn't it? And amazing 15, 16-year-old boys, but they are so in control of their emotions through anchoring that at the end of that second one, you had the teacher do the stand down. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you can literally, using your anchoring, can invoke any emotion you want, any feeling that you want, any emotional state, any emotional expression that you want to at that time. And it can be through cognitive framing, it can be through anchoring, it can be through, this is the power that you've got. If you practice it enough, before I let you know, they've been doing it since they can stand. Yeah. So the first time I did emotional anchoring, because I did it in, and my cousin Jess is sitting here listening to me the other day. I wish she was here for the start of this lesson, but I was in a room of 50 people, and I was very aware of everyone. Not only am I completely empathetic, and a lot of people actually had to, throughout this process, give themselves and release that energy, release guilt and release everything else, which I was feeling. I was really fighting that. I was like, oh, that's not mine, all this shit flying around the room. I was also really aware of where everyone is. And there was a camera because I was being filmed. So this was, you know, because it was a new space for me. I was sort of like, you know, watching everyone else, and because you've got to anchor. So you're like, what's everyone else's move so that mine doesn't look stupid? You know, and he's big rich. So whatever. So when Calvin does it, and what I do, it's absolutely phenomenal. So we chose 5 emotions that we would need to be successful and happy and feel them within an instant. Love is always there, but we do love last. And the really interesting thing is the first time I did it, because one of the things they get you to do is put 5 people in front of you that love you unconditionally. And my subconscious, but my conscious went straight to my 2 children and then my Freedompreneur tribe. You would think that it would have been my mum, my dad, but there is a lot of conditions there, not in a bad way. There's just a lack of understanding of my real journey and my true purpose and whatever else. So I didn't have them there. One of the first emotion was certainty. Certainty. Because if you're certain about something, there is no doubt, is there? So this is really handy if anything's going to be challenging. If you can invoke certainty, cool, got that. Yeah. Another one was powerful, gratitude. And I think gratitude's really important, because if you're ever starting to feel guilty or get angry at someone for the way they've treated you or whatever else, gratitude is really important, because you realize that's your nutrients. That's your tools. It's got you to this moment. It's made you a bigger, a better person. So powerful, certainty, gratitude, hunger, determination, and love. And what they get you to do is we brainstorm different moments in our life where we last felt that emotion, or where we felt it really strongly. Really interesting, what I'd actually brainstormed isn't the place that my brain took me to. Because when you're in that emotional state and you're conscious, you're not in like a hypnotized state, you're completely aware of everything. It's just a really amazing experience. So then what happens is you stand there, there's music being played at a particular hertz level, and Calvin's got a very strong voice. And this is what I would love to do with you guys. I'll be really honest with you, I'm still understanding whether I can do it through the computer or whether it has to be in close proximity. But I know that I can do some anchoring with you through the computer. I've just got to get hold of him and ask him. So you stand there, and amazing. The music's playing, and talk about cry, and not cry in a bad way. You cry because you feel so powerful, and everyone in the room is crying, and it's really important when you do it with other people that they keep that energy and they play full in. Because if one person, like the first time I did it, isn't playing full in, it ruins it for everyone else. It's a really powerful, amazing thing to be able to hold that space and that energy, not only for yourself, but for everyone in the room. And that's why in the Sexy Brand Building Formula, especially when we do those breakthroughs, because there's so many people, I make such a big deal about playing full in, not just for you, but for everyone. And You start, and the first thing is that, you know, I want you to remember certainty. I want you to remember the last time that you were so certain that you were going to win, or you were so certain that you were going to succeed. You're standing there, you've got your eyes closed, and it's really amazing how your stature starts to change. You might start really relaxed, and as these emotions come, like your shoulders go back, your chest goes out, because there's a psychological understanding about your physiological being and these emotions. If he asked me to invoke sadness, I'm going to guarantee you I'd be wrong. Yeah? Okay, so you do that and you're standing, and I know that my hands were always facing like this because there is power in that, and I was receiving amazing energy from other people, and I clenched them. My chest was out, my heart was completely open, my stance was really strong, and I know that's a part of my netball instinct. You get taught in netball that to be the most strong, powerful physical form you can be, that your legs have to be shoulder width apart. So my knees were slightly bent, and I was recognizing this. I was like, oh, this is my netball anchoring, right? Really funny. Anyway, certainty. He said, I want you to remember the last time that you were absolutely certain. Absolutely. My brain took me to a state league grand final. I had come out of centre because our wing attack was getting flopped. So they'd put her in centre because we couldn't get the ball out at the thing, and I had gone into wing attack, and I had that because you know, that setup, that I was certain that I was going to get that ball. That ball off that centre pass was mine, and I was very good at invoking these emotions in my sporting moments and whatever else. So that's where it took me, and I felt that, and he goes, right, I want you to take that emotion, I want you to times it by 2. I want you to times it by 3. And then as he's doing this, his volume is increasing. So automatically, your emotions are being heightened because that's a trigger. The music is going, so your emotion, very clever, right? Very clever. Me being me was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. But it's working. Times it by 2, times it by 3. I want you to times it by 5. I want you to take that by 10. Feel it and fire anchor, right? And the whole room, and all of a sudden, because I was going to be like, I found myself just going, yes! I was like, my eyes were still closed, and I was like, where'd that come from? Wow. And I just felt like you can feel it in your whole entire body. You can feel it surrounding you, and every single person in that room is playing full out, and they're firing their anchor, right? And there was a lot of competitive people in that room, and I noticed that the sports people and people that were really competitive were the ones that would say something. When we spoke about our experience later on, the people that were like, oh no, I didn't feel the need to say anything. Some of the women just went, yep, or yeah. One of the ladies, literally hers was like that. Yeah, amazing. Tina did this, Jody. Tina from Happiness Co. The walls of that woman. They're changing her far out. I love it. She's phenomenal, right? So fire anchor, yes! Fire anchor, yes! Fire anchor, yes! Music goes down. He says nothing. You come back in, now breathe. Now I want you to think of all the times that you've felt gratitude in your life. Gratitude for things that people have said to hurt you. Gratitude for things that you've done wrong. Gratitude for great things in your life, for being this, for being that. I took my kids from here on in. From here on in, we're in every single emotional scenario. I felt so much gratitude for my kids, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be living my true purpose. And this is where it started, right? Certainty, I had tears anyway, because I was just just knew that I was going to get that ball. I just knew it, and that feeling of emotion. This is where it started. And I just had so much gratitude for the fact that had happened. I was then in the slums in Africa, and having gratitude for how lucky I was being born into the family, into the country that I'd been born into, and not into that situation. But my kids, and literally it felt like my whole chest was just going to burst out. It was, because you've just felt it so strongly. And as he spoke you through it, you felt it, everything welled up like this giant wave until it encapsulated everything. Now I want you to take that gratitude and I want you to times it by 2. I want you to times it by 3. The music's going up. I want you to take that emotion. I want you to times it by 5. Now take it and times it 10 times and fire anchor. Yes. Right? You can imagine. Fire anchor. Yes. Yeah. So you go through, right? Amazing. Determination, I was back on the netball court, one-on-one contest. And the other scenario that came into my head was determination to be me for those girls. And that was so strong. They were in front of me and I'm like, I've got this, and there is no way we're going back to that old way. There is no way that you're going to learn that that's acceptable. Powerful, childbirth. Because everything was happening as it should. You know, and it was really funny that I went to powerful in childbirth because I like being in control of my body. Don't know if you guys have ever given birth before, there's no control. There is no way that anyone would be like, wait a minute, just wait 5 minutes, my husband's not here, I'm just going to hold off. When it's time to push, there's no way, is there? Your body's like, it's time. But powerful because everything was working the way that it should be. Even though I wasn't in control of it, my body was an absolute powerhouse and did exactly what it had to. And so I think that's why I went to it. And that to me symbolized the fact that sometimes you don't feel like you're in control of other people's actions. You don't feel like you're in control. Everything's happening just as it should. And there's so much power in that. And then it was love. And people that love you unconditionally and love for yourself. And by this time, people that hadn't done it before were wailing because they hadn't allowed themselves to feel that emotion for so long. And then when you heighten it and you feel it at its full intensity, so love is just this amazing, and the energy that goes around the room, and then it's times by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10. And you know, so many people you speak to, they go, when I had to put people in front of me that love me, they go to not their family. They go to people within that space, within that room at that time, because it's so powerful. So once you go through all 5,
Tell your brother.
you put them all together. You take certainty, you take love, you take gratitude, you take power, you take determination, and you put them all together. And you feel them all together. And you remember this, and you remember that, and you're getting spoken through it, and Calvin's voice is getting louder, and the music is getting louder, and then you've got all 5 emotions, and the room is freaking powerful because everyone's playing fully. Everyone's just got it. Like, people are here, they're like this, their chest is out, there's people bawling, but powerfully bawling. You know, like crying in a good way. and there's so much power, and you're just like, I was like this, I remember, and I just was bawling and everything. And then you take all 5 of those emotions and you times them by 2. And then you take them all and you times it by 3. Now you grow them to 5 times, and you take them and you times them 10 times, and then you fire your anchor. Boom. Fire your anchor. Yes. Fire your anchor. Yes. Silence and music. Fire your anchor. Silence and music. Fire your anchor. Done. Music calms. Calvin's voice goes lower. Right. Absolutely amazing. And it's that you have the ability to do this. When you are ready, open your eyes, this, that, and the other. And the most important thing, when you do it with a group of people, hug the first 5 people that you see. Unbelievable. So you're in a room with people that you might know or you don't know, and you're just, the first time I did it, my beautiful friend Wayne, who had suffered a lot of post-traumatic stress from his service, his time of service, he hugged me, and I don't think we let each other go for about 10 minutes. And this just goes on and on and on, because people just feel so much love, so much power. You've felt emotion like you've never felt it before, right? And you're hugging people, and you can feel that transference of energy. There's so much energy in the room, but there is power, because people, that's what they are. They're vibrations, they're energy. Our hearts, it gives out energy, electricity. So there's a scientific reason behind this as well. For people that think I'm silly, now I can talk to you guys in a certain way, but when people go, that's stupid, then I go, all right, well, I'll just tell you the scientific version. Do you believe me now? Okay, cool, excellent, not a problem. Right? And you're hugging people, there's that transference of energy, of electricity, and it's the most powerful thing. And now, since that day, if I ever need to feel any of those emotions, I just fire my anchor. But because I haven't done it for 66 days, okay, well, I have since Bali, but I didn't do it properly. But because the situation was created in such a way that the emotions that were felt were so powerful, and you can do this with different things, that wiring happened a lot quicker. It's almost like putting a fast forward button on it. So there are different things that you can do to speed up different processes. So yeah, so now so this is just the power of cognitive reframing, of practice, of rewiring, of anchoring. When you've got stuff down pat, you can choose the way you feel within an instant. I might wake up feeling shit. I have to anchor and I'm like, oh, I got this. I do. I just stand up there and I anchor, you know, and I do it before every single call. And I just know that every call is going to be fantastic. And I just know that it's going to be powerful. And I just know that you guys are going to get stuff from it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. Thanks for letting me go through that again. I love it. I don't know if you can tell, but I love it.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So yes, how did you guys find today? What was your biggest breakthrough? Biggest takeaway?
I'm trying to figure out a way to put on my shoes powerfully, because that is my thing. But like even putting it on, because I don't put them on before I go to netball. I put them on once I'm there, because I'm out of my children's space. So I'm in a different space. So I've moved. I can't put them on at home. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I remember putting them on in the car last weekend, kind of feeling a bit like I was trapped in putting them on too, and I was trying to like power on was what I was saying, and like stomping my foot, but it didn't. The first quarter I was just like no good, but in saying that, like that, I think that was a team energy thing too.
Yep.
I was like, let's go. So something must have flipped in my head.
Yep.
Because there was no music when I drove there. Driving to Conniva, there was like static, so there's no awesome music to be pumped about. So it was putting on my shoes, and I was like, come on girls, let's go. Like I was that. But didn't really feel, when I was putting them on, I didn't feel this, like watching you're all like this emotion and everything is with your, you know. So I think I need to create.
So a couple of things. Your shoes are a representation, they are an anchor, but you have the power to choose your emotional state then and there.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you're putting on your shoes, and I know that your shoes is your thing, but you actually have the power right then and there, even if there's no music, even if your routine isn't like it usually is.
Yeah.
I used to be like that with grand finals and netball. I was like, I have to listen to music. I have to listen to until I worked out that I actually have the power to choose my emotional state. It's a choice.
Yeah.
So what we do a lot of as coaches is we put visualization, different skills or movements or things so that you guys can do it. I'll be really honest with you. So when we were doing emotional mastery, Calvin, and there was only a number of coaches in there, other people were there for their own reasons. And he did a reframing technique with us where we took something that we didn't want to eat anymore, but we really enjoyed, something that we were sabotaging ourselves, and then did a reframing technique using imagery in our brains. And I will go through that with you if you want me to go through it. And just put the overlays on it, almost like an Instagram filter, so that when you saw that thing. So mine was, I don't eat bread anyway, and I only eat organic bread if I do, but I still don't like eating it. So I did organic bread with sea cucumber. Now when I look at bread, all I can think of is sea cucumbers and I want to throw up. Right? It's just horrific. And this happened with, this is the power of this reframing. It happens within 10 minutes. So then I was with another coach. Big Rich is one of his personal clients, who is also a personal trainer and a coach. And we did a reframing technique where you took a limiting belief, and everyone did the limiting belief of I am not good enough. And then you reframed it with an old belief of being a 7-year-old. I am not good enough. I am a 7-year-old. Now, you know that you're not a 7-year-old. I mean, the funny thing is you have to clarify with someone that they know that they're not a 7-year-old. Because if they think that it's not going to work, it's actually going to anchor that in, right? So you've got to clarify that they're not crazy and that they know they're not 7, and that's been and gone. That's in the past. So you overlay those Instagram filters, so the imagery you see in your brain from the memory or the belief that I was once a 7-year-old and I'm not anymore, you overlay them with I am not good enough or whatever else. And all of a sudden, it's really funny, you come out of that. And you think there's going to be this amazing breakthrough because you've got rid of something that's hindered you your whole life. And you think like you come out of it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, literally, it's a bit confusing. You're like, did anything even happen? You're a bit bewildered. It's gone. Like you actually go back and you go to the I am not good enough. Like, and they say that out loud, and you go, that's not true. Yeah, I am. And I remember saying to Calvin, I can do what you do. Screw you. I'm going to outshine you. And he goes, see, it's gone. And I'm like, shouldn't it be this great big? He's like, no. All you've done is moved it from the negative scale up the positive scale. It's like, you know. Then what you do is you take and you reframe that again with whatever you want. So it might be a belief of I'm unstoppable, I'm remarkable, I'm powerful, and you reframe it with that. So when you want that, like, yeah, that's after that reframing, and this can all happen within 20 minutes. Right? Really funny. Big Rich came over because the girl that I was talking to and we chose not to do that. We chose not to do that. And when he came over, and then another friend that works for Calvin that I absolutely adore, he's hilarious, Jason. So his fun fact the other day was that any colour looks good on him. Oh, Jason. They both come over and said, you finished? Within 5 minutes. I said, no, we didn't start. And Jason looked at me and sort of went, oh, haven't you? Why? And it's almost like he knew what was coming. And I said, because this is all symbols. I said, yes, this has a psychological impact in our brain. Yes, absolutely. I said, but what I've realized over my 4 years of mastering my craft is that I don't need to do that. It's a choice for me to invoke that straight away. The emotional anchoring is very different. That's very powerful. But when it comes to negative thinking, when it comes to limiting beliefs, when it comes to that, I said, I've got the power to feel that within an instant. It's a choice for me to change my emotional state. That's all it is. I can go from feeling very neutral to feeling amazing using emotional anchoring. But if I want to go from feeling neutral just to feeling positive, I can do that within a second, just within a choice that I make. So same when you're putting on your shoes, you can make that choice within an instant. It's a choice for you to be in the emotional state and the emotional experience you're experiencing. I can do all this stuff with you. I can give you those overlays. I can give you those filters, and there's power in that. Absolutely. You've got to keep conditioning it. You know, you've got to keep, so, you know, I wouldn't go and try and in a really positive experience. You know. You've got the choice to have that straight away. The other thing is there's probably that old rule of feeling like you've got to fight through everyone else's negativity to feel positive. No, you don't. You can be the only happy person in the room and still feel happy. You know how to block that negative energy now. Yeah? So when your team's like, and you're like, oh, the team's dragging me down. No, you're choosing to go down with them. You're choosing to captain that ship. That ship. No, put your bubble on, match your shoes on, change your emotional state. Done. And the thing is that you'll take everyone else along with you. Just by doing that, because your energy will change, your electricity. You won't have to, although it's good to, because it's that symbolism that we're used to. Come on, girls. Yeah. You know, that's that symbolism that we're used to, but your energy will do that naturally. Yeah. You've got to remember. Bye-bye. Whatever it is, you know. Don't run out on a netball court going, The other thing, because we are so caught up on symbols and habits, and because these are part of the old rules too, is that when you put your shoes on, if you want to, just have a power move.
Oh, yeah.
So you put your shoes on and you have a power move. So if you're not feeling it straight away, if you feel like you've got to do it in the car,
Yeah.
it's not all happening because you don't have the symbolism of music and you don't have that. There it is.
Yeah.
Do that for 66 days, done.
Yeah, cool.
Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that helps heaps.
I can yap, can't I?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Yay.
So best and fairest this year then. And when you go to make your speech, you can go, I thank Abby McKenna and my shoes.
Yes.
And then not even care what people think about that. Just go, I'll leave you with that one. There.
Yeah. Big trophy.
Exactly.
Kiss up.
Pass the cup, because you don't have to buy drinks when you win best and fairest. Everyone else has to buy them for you.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I like it.
Excellent.
Mm.
Excellent. You have a choice to experience whatever emotional state you want to.
Mm.
You just got to shed that old skin, shed that old rules, shed that old behaviours.
Mm.
Yeah. And you're becoming really conscious and aware, and you're starting to realise that you're in complete control of them. It's just all this stuff that you've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yay.
Take it on this week. Take it on for training. Take it on for training as well.
Yes.
Mm.
Everywhere. And practice it whenever you can.
Mm.
Practice it whenever you can, because you'll start to learn that you'll use the same techniques for a lot of different things, just talking to people.
Yeah.
I do it sometimes when I don't want to go to the supermarket. I'll anchor just to feel better. I hate supermarkets. Go in there and go feeding all your chemical shit to us. Choosing not to be angry.
Yeah. Yes. Right, very cool. Thank you for today.
No worries. No problem. Thank you for letting me take up all your time.
It's all right. I enjoy it.
I will upload this into the academy.
Yep.
Next week is reframing your true self. It's going to be a big week. I'm going to have a few exercises for you to do. But I want you to practice your anchors this week.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. And still the unstoppable action, because that's outsmarting negative thinking.
Yeah. Yep. So 5-second rule still.
Yep. Shit, yeah. I mean, goodness, yes.
Awesome.
I swear anyway, but I've been hanging around with a lot of people that swear a lot lately, and it's rubbing off on me even worse. So you can pick up. They're not bad people. They're all really positive, and they're all really like big vibrationally, but they swear. So
Let's get scary, Mom.
Let's get scary, Mom.
Yeah. Let's get scary.
All right, ladies. I have had you for 2.5 hours, so I will let you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks, Abby.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I should press that before I say bye.